All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander, Season 1, Episode 9, The Reckoning.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I mentioned this while we were watching, I think, the previous episode. Every single time we sit down and watch an episode, I forget how many things happen in each episode.
There's so much.
There's like 4 different things, like more than like 5 or 6 things happen in this episode because we get well, first of all, we get a voiceover from Jamie, which I was really into the first time, I feel like, because it was just different.
Yeah.
And so it was like interesting, but like, and I like some of the stuff that he says, especially the very beginning speech about like how he realized he was a man, like the thing where he had to like make all these decisions and stuff. That's interesting. But the rest of it is kind of like, it's like not as good. And especially because the books are all from Claire's perspective.
Yeah, I don't super love it.
Yeah.
And then because I know that Diana has said that I think like her last book, it would be a big focus on Jamie, or like that would be the end of their story, would be really fully telling Jamie's story.
Okay.
So it just doesn't compute for me, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
As much as I love Jamie, don't get me wrong, and as much as I love Sam Heughan, I don't.
We don't need to go in his head though.
Yeah. No.
No thoughts, head empty, just Sassenach.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we got.
Yeah.
So we do get the voiceover from him. We get the conclusion of the cliffhanger that we got last time, which is them like escaping from Fort William. He really did bluff his way in there with an empty pistol.
100%,
I forgot that. And it's amazing. And they like they're rescued and they're fine. The fucking Highlanders blow up part of Fort William and it's like awesome. They get away. It's great. He slams Jack's
funk right onto the table.
And he is like
out. Yeah. And I had said like, and now stab him, because it would have answered or solved so many issues. But there is actually a voiceover there that says it didn't occur to me to take a man's life when he's like a helpless man or whatever. And it's just like, but he deserves it though.
He could super deserve it.
Yeah. Just real quick.
So we get that. And then, Claire is very apologetic. She's very sorry, but...
And the men don't give a fuck.
The men don't give a fuck.
Nope. Ignore her.
Nor should they, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She was super wrong. They could have all died trying to rescue her. And she has like a pretty bad fight with Jamie where she like, she just like calls them all kinds of names. They're screaming at each other in earshot of the other men.
Oh, yeah.
Too. At dinner that night, she's like trying to be friendly and it's not working because the guys are all pissed at her. And she goes upstairs and Murtaugh's like, she doesn't understand. You need to make her understand. And that is apparently Highlander code for spank your wife as punishment and then she'll be fine.
How do I volunteer to
where do I start? Not that kind of spanking. That's like he hits her with a belt a bunch of times. That is not, though, to say she doesn't deserve it. She deserves it.
She does. And then just because when Jamie is like, I'm waiting for something that sounds like an apology.
Resembling an apology.
Yeah. And she's just like, me apologize? Are you fucking kidding? And she's like, ma'am, you have no legs to stand on.
So she does say, the thing she does say is like, you want me to apologize for getting kidnapped and almost raped? And it's like, no.
And when she was like, I went for a walk, it's like, no, you were escaping.
You went for a swift jog up the mountain to the standing stones.
You are adjusting that narrative, ma'am, because
100%.
that is not what happened in the slightest.
And I think the thing that I like the best about this and why I can't in good conscience call it like domestic abuse or anything. In the first place, it's a totally different time. And this is like a scenario by scenario situation. In the second place, she gives as good as she gets.
Oh, absolutely. He has like a giant gash on his face for the rest of the episode.
And she like elbows him. She kicks him in the nose.
Yeah.
This scene to me is like straight up comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It is so funny, especially because they keep cutting down to the guys downstairs and they're like, Angus is the one who's like, I can't tell who's punishing who. And by that point already, it's not even completed. It's not even over. And the guys are already fine.
Yeah, totally fine with that.
After that. And it's just so funny. And then she does give him like the cold shoulder for like a while.
Yeah.
Which is also appropriate. It's
yeah.
like she did something bad and then he did something bad and then they're just sort of like at odds. But it is so funny to me that he's like, once we do this, it's fine. Once just accept it and let it happen and then everything will be fine. All's forgiven from me, from them, everything. And the fact that she just doesn't understand that only apologizing is not going to cut it, that he's like, you don't understand. You might do it again if you don't have like a legitimate reason not to. And then I think my favorite part is the very end when he he does go so hard, which we talked about a little bit out there, but he just is basically like, if I don't think that the way that it's gone up to now is the way that it needs to be between us. So like, I promise I'll never do it again. And he like puts his knife on his heart and everything.
He pledges fealty. He does the whole thing that he technically should have done to Colum, but he didn't. So instead he's pledging fealty to his wife. So fucking hot. Whew. And it was like, and if I do it again, may this metal pierce my heart. And so good.
So good.
And the fact that, I mean, it seems a little calculated, especially since he kind of felt up Larry like at the spring, which I mean, he didn't seek her out, but still
he put his hand on her boob.
They held hands and he squeezed. Okay. And he did lean in. Okay.
I mean, look, Katrina Bell's breasts are amazing. Leary's breasts are bigger.
Oh, yeah.
So there's more to squeeze, to like actually squeeze. Oh, honey. Oh, man.
But so it seems a little, I don't know. It just seems a little suspect, especially because of that. But I do like the fact that he is obviously picking up signs and signals from Claire that she is a modern, like even way more modern than most of the other women that he knows. Right. And he's adjusting accordingly.
Which I like.
Yeah. I like that he doesn't want there to be any power imbalance, it seems. He even says, I am your master and you are mine. Yeah. And
also hot.
Yeah. God. And I said it out there. When she is on top, shit is going down. She is handling her biz.
Because they do then have makeup sex. It is
hottest makeup sex I have ever seen in my life.
Hot. Super duper hot. Really good makeup sex. And then she is riding him so hard. And then she grabs the knife and puts it to his throat. And he's a little into it. He's like a little into it.
Well, she even like squeezed his neck at first too. And I'm just like,
yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you ever raise your hand to me again, I'll cut out your heart and eat it for breakfast, which is such a boss line. And he just is like, yeah, whatever, man, just keep going. And she like the whole time she's got the knife on him, she is still going.
Yep.
And I just was like, yeah, all right, do it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
so good.
And then I love that like after they're done, he asks her what fucking means and what sadist means. He's so cute.
He just wants to learn new words.
He really does. And he doesn't ask, where did you learn this word? Just please tell me.
Yeah, what does it mean? Love to see it. And then the only other big thing in this episode is that we get a whole mess of confirmations about stuff between Colum and Dougal and Ned and Jamie. They have like a couple scenes, all four of them together.
I just hate that as soon as we're back at Leoch, it's just no one trusts each other anymore. And it's like, you just went through you were gone for weeks, if not months. And now why is it a question?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
well, he found out that they were raising the Jacobite money, which is like suspicious because it basically implicates Colum in treason as well, even though he had no idea. So I do love the way it gets resolved, which is that Jamie goes back to Colum and is like, look, just let him have the money. There's no way there's going to be an uprising. And if there is, it's so far off that you can make up your mind later. Let him be a rebel and do whatever he wants.
Let him tire himself out.
Exactly. And I do love that. But this is also the episode where we get confirmation that Dougal is Hamish's father. So he is actually, because he says, I secured your bloodline. And I'm just like, ugh!
And I love that Claire's like, called it.
Yeah. She's like, I knew from like minute one. And Jamie is like, yeah, we all knew. But like, no one had ever said it out loud.
We kept the quiet part to ourselves.
Yeah. So I do like that a lot. And then I had forgotten how much of an actual plot it was that like Colum wanted Jamie to succeed him instead of Dougal. And that now that he's married Claire, that's sort of an impossibility because the people won't support him. Which doesn't seem right. They had like a whole ass celebration just like ready when they got back. Everyone seems to like Claire.
Yeah, she's endeared herself to...
She's a healer.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It just... All of this is... There's so much chess happening. Yeah. And I should be like, motherfuckers, I'm tired. Can I just have a bath and a hot meal and just no one talk to me for like 3 days?
Also, Claire's ass has to be sore. Because she got beat and then she had to ride a horse for like 3+ days, I feel like.
Well, and then all the sex she and Jamie are having too. I mean, just that entire lower half of her body. It's just got to be like, ouch.
Yeah. It's like a lot going on. And then we mentioned Leary a little bit, but it also, she like comes crying to Jamie and is like, why did you do it? I waited for you. And it's like, y'all did have nothing on the books to promise this. And he is too sweet to her.
Yes.
And he leaves it too mysterious at the beginning because he's like, well, it wasn't my choice, but we'll have to talk about it later.
And I owe you an explanation.
And that just sort of implies that like he doesn't want to be married. And then even at the stream, she's like, you don't look happy. And it's like, well, he's not right now because his wife is mad at him.
Exactly. Men. That is called, actually, everyone does
women
it.
Do it too.
It's called breadcrumbing.
Yeah.
If you don't like somebody, just let them fucking know. Don't keep them on the line. It's not nice because then if you do, you'll end up with what did they call it? An ill wish. You'll end up with an ill wish under your bed. So there's probably like a fucking chicken bone under your bed.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do it. Just flat out tell them no.
It's also, if you've watched How I Met Your Mother, they call it keeping them on the hook.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think he's consciously keeping Leary on the hook because he is in love with Claire now. He loves her. But he is subconsciously keeping her on the hook.
And it's like, for fucking what?
Yeah, she sucks.
For what? And I mean, and he was so dismissive of, I can't talk anymore. So dismissive of her before. And it's like, so why all of a sudden are you like,
let me hold your hand.
Yeah.
And this is no shade at all to Nell Hudson, who I think is like so good in the role and like really pretty and like
the fact that we hate you so much means that you were doing your job.
Doing your job so good.
Yes.
And also, I love Leary, if only for the fact that she gets us an amazing character later.
Yes.
Who is a character that I like deeply love. But yeah, I mean, that's like mostly it for this episode. This show, I love it so much.
So good.
Yeah. And I like, honestly, I don't know how I waited 7 months in between the previous episode and this one.
I remember being very stressed and starved.
Yeah.
In fact,
they call it Droughtlander.
Yeah. I think I would go back and reread.
Yeah.
And just in the meantime, just because I miss them so much.
So good.
Going through that right now with ACOTAR, but it's fine.
Yeah. I have not read any in like over a week and I feel really stressy about it, but I'm going to try to finish them over Christmas break.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
So, yeah. Well, that is it for episode 9. We will be back shortly with episode 10.
Bye.
Bye.